Everyone, welcome to Spirit Guide Chat. My name is Jake. Welcome back for my weekly reading. And boy, what a week we've gone through, right? From the snowstorm that, if you have gone through the snowstorm or slash cold weather, hope you're still staying warm here in Indiana. I live in central Indiana. I got about 11 inches of snow here, and I know areas I have friends in New England who've gotten it way worse in regards to snow, but the cold has been lingering like very frigid weather. So hopefully you all are staying warm if you're in those affected areas, as well as another killing in Minnesota with Alex Pretti. We'll do a reading on that. I do want to say that this past week was a real struggle for me. I'm sure many of you out there um, have probably struggled like me with sadness and anger and helplessness and where to go from this. And hopefully, with this week's reading, we can get some clear answers on some things and outside of those topics as well. But before that, just a quick reminder if you can help me out and like and subscribe. Feel free to comment with any questions or, like I said, comments. I greatly appreciate that. It will help the channel out and continue to grow. So with that being said, I before I go into the Alex Pretti thing, I do want to talk about since it's happening right now in Congress. I know I read on it last month about if the government's going to shut down this month. I said no. It was not. I just wanted to do another check-in with that to see, because of course free will does affect outcomes and timing and even the the scope of how a decision may happen. So let's just take a look, Spirit, if we can see if the government will. Let's see, will the government shutdown will be avoided? Will there be some kind of agreement made? And then we'll narrow it down there. So let's just see in general, will it'll be avoided? And by the way, if you don't know, they have till tomorrow to come up with something. So there's an endings and beginnings here. And then it's being crossed by the Eight of Wands. So remember, this is reading as a reverse. So there's a lot of frustrations about this. I think the endings represent the Democrats' demands about putting restrictions on the DHS, Department of Homeland Security, especially with the Alex Pretti killing recently. Last week, this is also has struck up in the Senate in regards to formulating various restrictions like no more masks, body cameras on, etc. Here's the spending and the giving and receiving of money. It passed in the past because we had the House passing the spending bills here. We're definitely at a crossroads. Negotiations are actively going on between Republicans and the White House. So we're at a crossroads here with the Two of Swords. Here's the Tower, the sudden change, and I think that we all know what this sudden change is with that Trump right now is um, fighting against in regards to the whole disaster with Kristi Noem, Greg uh, Bovino, no, Grovino. I'm going blank right now. You know who I'm talking about, who was recently demoted. Tom Homans is in there in Minnesota right now. But just the reaction about everything that's been going on in Minnesota. And then there is some focus and determination coming in with the Queen of Wands. And there is some kind of victory coming in. And I think this is what the Democrats are asking for. I don't know necessarily it's going to be everything, but there is going to be success in some of these limitations. This is going to affect the money with the Nine of Pentacles, and they're hoping for, and this is mainly for this a surprise deal that kind of happens through negotiations. So the outcome card is yes, that they're going to with the Ten of Cups, that there is going to be avoidance of a government shutdown. So this still coincides with what I read a month ago in regards to avoiding a government shutdown. So let's take a look. I want to kind of narrow down specifically if there will be restrictions on DHS in this new spending agreement to see um, if Democrats will win any of their restrictions that they're proposing in the new spending bill. Right. Will the Democrats spirit? Will the Democrats win any of their restrictions that they're proposing? It's one that jumped out. There is definitely a Six of Swords moving out of troubled waters. That's also a maybe card. So let's see the full picture of this. So there is some disappointment with the Five of Cups here. There's a minor death card, but I also want to as a reminder when you look at this card, there's three cups lost, but there's two remaining. So this could go meaning that there might be some things that they're willing to they as in Republicans are willing to have in this new bill. With the crossing by the Chariot card, and this is meaning that they need some restrictions. They want some restrictions because of the lack of control that's going on here. There's in the past we have a lot of strength behind these proposals, and winning at all costs. The Democrats are on the side of doing this in regards to putting these restrictions. Are here's the Page of Swords. There's going to be some kind of breakthrough, I think, through these negotiations. Um, but there is going to be financial security going again that there is going the spending bills are going to pass. Um, but here's the restrictions going on with the Eight of Swords. So it's looking like that, and here's the Devil card, the outside influences. The hope is for their wish to come true with the Nine of Cups, excuse me. Um, there's the utter downfall. So it sounds like they may not at this time. But then there's some kind of victory coming in and some teamwork. So there is a proposal here where there would be a limited extension on the DHS. Might be exactly what they're talking about. The spirit is that no for right now for the restrictions. However, there is a talk in these collaborations. These are the negotiations that will go on. They're going to with the DHS funding give it a shorter time frame where extension of the funding in order to come up with new restrictions for the Department of Homeland Security. So unfortunately, not right now, but in the long term, I think Democrats will be successful in getting those restrictions. I understand that's the one frustration during this time that we're living in is that it's not soon enough, right? When people are suffering, people are dying in the streets, that stuff isn't happening now to prevent it. It seems pretty easy to do these restrictions in order to protect people, but this is where we're at. So things can change. So it's more important than ever. We're in a year of elections to get people out to vote. Check your registration. Ask your friends, family if their registration's active. And make plans about what you're going to do. Let me just write some notes down for these questions. I have just one international question right now. Is that there's a buildup of ships. They call it Armada, Trump, but going towards Iran. So I want to see if there will be, because right now there's been a lot of distractions going on. Per usual with the orange one, a lot of distractions to distract us from Epstein, distract us from this Minnesota thing. There's a buildup in towards Iran. So let's see if there will be another attack by the United States on Iran. Spirit, will the United States attack Iran again? Okay, here's the Knight of Swords. Swift action incoming. Crossed by the Page of Wands here. There definitely a lot of lack of distraction, creating conflict, creating this chaos with this Sable this uh Sable saber rattling. Can't get my words out. The Sun card was in the past, so there is some kind of agreement going on with the Lovers card, working together on this. They do want to show their strength with the Nine of Wands. That's the United States. They've been working diligently on this plan. This is not something that they just came overnight with the Eight of Pentacles. And here's Trump here with the in here explaining that this was something that Trump planned. What's the outside influence? Money. They want. If you think that they want Iran just to be a democratic country, which of course is what they're saying, wouldn't that be great? But we all know what Iran has is oil. And to get them to be on our side, this is another opportunity for an oil country to be on our side. But here it goes with the Seven of Swords, the buffoonery, the trickery, the working sneakily on this plan where most of us know that this is not to spread democracy here. This is going to be a financial loss. I don't think that it's going to happen. The saber rattling, but there is preparation for this. I think they just want to using it as a negotiation technique um, to get what they want. Okay, so let's move back to another recent news item that happened today, I believe, as of today, Thursday, the 29th. I believe Amy Klobuchar, Senator of Minnesota, has announced her candidacy in the governor's race. I know I read on this again last month, but that was before she officially was in the race. I think I read on that after Walz stepped away and she expressed interest. So this kind of changes the dynamic, not only for the governor's race, but in Minnesota, but also eventually it will leave an empty Senate seat if she does win. She's not running for Senate. She's not running for re-election, I should say, this year. It's actually Tina Smith, the senator. Tina Smith, the other senator who's retiring. Her seat is up. Right now, the lieutenant governor and Peggy Flanagan and Angie. Um, Oh God, Angie Craig. She's a congresswoman from Minnesota. They're running against each other for that seat. So I believe Minnesota, if she does win and resign, she can nominate somebody else to replace her. Okay, so let's look at Spirit. Let's look at this to see if Amy Klobuchar, now that she announced the candidacy, will she be the next governor of Minnesota? And that election is happening this year, by the way, this November. Amy Klobuchar, next governor of Minnesota. I think that's too many cards. All right. All right. The Ten of Wands, a lot of hard work going on right now with a lot of things going on in Minnesota, of course. crossed by the four of calls, which is she's going to be spending a lot of money because it's going to be a lot of hard work and a lot of pushback from there. Here's the endings and the endings with the death card in the recent past. She's wanting to leave her job in Washington, but she's very ambitious. She's a very ambitious person. She ran for president in 2020. Uh, and she was possibly a candidate for 2028, but with her running for governor, that's most likely not going to happen. There's a lot of positivity crowning her candidacy here. And she is going to be working together. She has worked together across party lines, and I think she will with as governor, and with this campaigning, talking to both sides of the people. I get the feeling that with the Four Cups that they kind of convinced her to run. I know it may have not been on her scorecard this year, but with Tim Walz leaving, I think they didn't want to risk it going to a Republican, so she's doing it with a little apathy. So there's that. She will be, like I said, she'll be spending a lot of money. That means she'll be fundraising a lot with the Six of Pentacles. She's fearing an utter downfall with the Ten of Swords. That's the hopes and fears kind of thing. But she is going to win. This is the Nine of Cups. This is a wish come true. This was what I got before in regards to that she will be the next governor of Minnesota. Um, let's since we're talking about Minnesota, let's talk about what happened last week with Alex Pretti, that terrible killing of Alex Pretti, who was a nurse, an intensive care nurse at the VA, the Veterans Hospital. Let's look at to see if those ICE agents that were involved will be punished in some way. Well, the ICE agents involved in Alex Pretti's killing, will they be punished? Here's the tower moment that happened in regards to this, crossed by the Knight of Pentacles. This was done all of a sudden. There's no reward in what this happened. There's no point in doing this other than showing that they're supposedly strength. But to be honest, this is showing really small d energy. If I'm going to be honest with this, here's the utter downfall in the past in regards to the killing of Alex Pretti, and I believe which is interesting that we got the Ten of Swords in the past because I believe he was shot 10 times. Even though this is swords, I mean, this is the cards we have. We don't have 10 bullets, so this is showing the murder. With Six of Pentacles here on the foundation, and on the foundation of this reading, the King of Swords. Here's the legal action that's coming ahead. Um, there's going to be a lot of planning and progress in the near future with the Two of Wands. With the Ten of Pentacles, the family wants to feel, Alex Pretti's family wants to feel secure in getting this justice from the Knight of Wands. There's from the outside. There's a lot of support for justice for Alex Pretti from the outside. The King of Cups is the hopes and fears. I think it's the hope for having the judge that will be empathetic to the Pretti side, and yes, it is going to happen. It doesn't necessarily mean I want to be clear on this. With the Page of Swords is here too, clarifying that they will seek justice. We're not talking about timing here, so I'm not saying that. I'm not feeling like it's going to be anytime soon. I think eventually down the line, it's going to happen. And it's just going to take time because we don't have the players that are going to do this justice right away. And that's the terrible thing where we're at right now, and the frustration that we all feel. So let me write that down. Okay. Two more questions before we do the general reading for you all out there. Christy Nome, let's see where if she's going to be leaving or resigning from her position. Or should let's Spirit, let's ask first if she's going to get impeached. Let's start there. Let's see if she is. I know that there's been co-sponsors right now in the House for impeachment papers. It doesn't have enough yet, but let's see if one card coming out. Yeah, right now they're collaborating right now in the House with the Three of Pentacles here. Let's see if Christy Nome will be impeached. We'll go from there. Ooh. So let's see. These cards can slip down. I don't normally do upside down cards, but definitely with the Nine of Cups reversed, there's a lot of smugness. But I think this is talking about Christy Nome and the Sun card. She's feeling like she's on top of the world still. That she's in the good graces. That she's kind of untouchable where she's at. But let's see if she's going to be impeached. Good. There is some fast movement and progress with the Chariot card crossed by the Ace of Swords here. There's they're rethinking about where I think there was no appetite before when there was earlier calls, but now it's being rethought about compassion. Sorry, I was about uh, moving forward with the impeachment process. The Sun card was in the past. They wanted a rebalance in this department. The Temperance card. They're thinking about where things were in the past with the DHS. Here again, the Tower is showing up more often. So this is going to happen. There's going to be some kind of sudden change in action. This we'll see. This could be meaning that she might be leaving before this even gets across the board. There's the Ten of Wands. There's a lot of hard work because fortunately there's a lot of votes that are going to be needed, and they're hoping to work diligently on this. The Two of Cups said yes, so it might pass, but I'm going to ask. The next question is what I was initially going to ask if she's going to leave. So it might pass, but it may never go to trial if she decides to leave. So this is saying it's leaning towards yes, and so let's see if Christy Nome will leave and resign. Will she end up leaving or resigning, and or Christy Nome? She leave and or resign? Here's the Eight of Wands. So there's some kind of new job offer that's being put out there with the Five of Cups crossing this. Definitely sounding like there might be new job offers that she may be moving on from this. In the past, it was the Fool card with new beginnings. Here's the Sun card popping up again as the foundation this time of rebirth. There is opportunities with the Seven of Cups. Wheel of Fortune. So this was looking like the Justice card here. The Wheel of Fortune. There is this. I believe there's with the Two of Cups here. I think there is going to be an impeachment trial pending. Definitely at a crossroads in the World card. So yes, I think she is going to end up leaving. But it looks like again these cards are Spirit is saying that that there will be enough support for impeachment. Whether it passes or not, it's kind of irrelevant because she is planning to leave before that even gets moving along. All right. Last question before the general reading is about Tom Homans. Right now, he is took in charge of ICE in Minnesota, or in general, I think he's the top person under Kristi Noem that's in charge of ICE. But let's see if Tom Homans will be Kristi Noem's replacement when she leaves DHS. The moon cards come popping up here, which, if you recall, Tom Homans was part of FBI investigation for receiving a bribe that, of course, Pam Blondie dropped that investigation. So that's a possible black mark in his Senate, um, going through the Senate process of approval. But let's just see if he will be nominated. Pinnacle. I think they're going back and forth with him. I think this is why they're giving him a chance up there. The King of Pentacles crossing. I think there's an issue with the greed part, like I was just talking about with that bribe. They wanted someone with a new perspective, which Tom Homans does have a good reputation compared to Kristi Noem or Greg Ravina. The Empress cards on the bottom. Um, they want to take some evolution in this, who's working, who's the face of ICE. The High Priestess is some kind of hidden agenda. A new phase is coming with the Judgment card. Here's the Six of Pentacles. The Four of Swords, some kind of retreat. The fear is, in the hopes and fears, is the utter downfall of 10. But there is going to be action when she leaves to nominate him. I changed the question in the middle, so actually I'm going by what my last question was before I laid down the cards, if he's going to be nominated. Where's the time here? We can ask real quick if he's going to win his, is he going to be voted in Senate? Will the Senate approve Tom Homan's nomination for Secretary of Homeland Security? Will he win Senate confirmation? Tom Homans wins Senate confirmation to be the new Secretary of Homeland Security. So there is some scenes talking with the Two of Cups working behind the scenes. The Three of Pentacles is crossing us. There is some disharmony about this, not about this possible nomination. Again, the Hangman in the past, they really want to change the perspective of how ICE looks, the face of ICE. The Lover's card is at the base of this reading, something that they can get enough votes in from the Senate. The Queen of Cups is on the crowning this reading. They want someone that appears a little more compassionate. This is the Four of Wands. I think, again, there is going to be some success in regards to this nomination process, but then there's a lot of restrictions on this nomination because, like I said, there's still some black spots in this nomination. From the outside, he seems like he's bringing some type of stability, but again, the orders are coming from the orange one, so it's not really that. It's just the perception that he is. There is going to be some kind of surprise in the hopes and fears with the Page of Cups, and it says yes, so he might struggle, but I think he is going to ultimately end up being Kristi Noem's replacement. So that's why he is out there right now. All right. So again, let's end this with a general reading, and I apologize for I am still working my I took a little break to read for you guys and gals. So let's do a general reading spirit for the audience. General reading. Spirit, what's the general reading that we can do that would help everyone out there? Okay. Here's the moon card to start. There's a lot of fears and anxieties out there, which is not a surprise. And what's being crossed by is the Four of Pentacles. And what we're doing is, of course, is protecting ourselves, self-protection, right? Because what else is there to do but to try to protect ourselves? Because right now, in the past, we've started this new phase, this rebirth that's going on. A lot of changes are happening, and we all chose to be here at this time in this difficult period of changes, and changes that will eventually be for the better. I know it's hard when we're in the thick of the crappy stuff, right? But here we are, and this is the basis, the foundation of this reading is that the Knight of Swords. We have to be action orientated. We can't. Spirit is telling us we can't just sit on the wayside. And action orientated doesn't mean necessarily you have to go out in the streets and protest, but it can be. But it's also doing actions to help better our local environment, or even larger than that if you're able to do so. But we all can do take some action. Um, and to be fearless with the Knight of Wands to in these actions that we also know that we're not fearless, because there is a lot of suffering and grief going on, and in the near future we're still not at the bottom, unfortunately, with the Three of Swords. And there is going to be a lot of disagreements with the Five of Wands here going on that we have to work through, but we're from the outside, we need, and this is part of our progress, about our progress to forward is to get through all this, because the hope is that we will get justice eventually. And then I know that normally this is a trump card, but normally with the Emperor card, that this is somebody with wisdom, with respect, in leadership. We all can show what that is through our actions, through our passion, and defending those who can't defend themselves, right? So there you go. Hopefully that gives everyone a perspective of where we're at. Again, thank you all for joining me. Please hit that subscribe button and don't forget to leave any comments and or questions, just no personal questions. But any other questions, I am happy to answer them in a future weekly reading. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.